Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. Today we are going to learn about ServiceNow Flow Designer. It is one of the most powerful automation tool in ServiceNow platform. So basically a flow designer is a no code automation solution that allow you to automate business processes without writing complex scripts. Okay, so the same we are going to witness today. It basically replaces the old workflow editor and make it super easy for admin and process owners to build automation through simple drag and drop interface. With Flow Designer, you can automate your repetitive tasks, create approval process, notification, update records, integration, all kind of things without writing a single line of code. This is the power of this Flow Designer. So now let me show you that here. Look at the screen. Under process automation, we have Flow Designer. Click on it. So this is a complete interface of Flow Designer. Right now it is coming in this workflow studio. Along with flow, you see playbook, okay, other things as well. But today we are focusing on these flows only, the flow designer things. So there are five main components of flow designer. Okay, so one is trigger, then action, subflow, flow logic, and data. So these are the, you can say, five building blocks of a flow designer. You see, this is the flow, this is subflow, this is trigger, this is action, and the data will come later. Okay, so now let me open one of the flow. This is the one which I have created recently. So let us talk about very first building block, that is trigger. So what is a trigger? So a trigger is a kind of your starting point, or you can say it is the one which is triggering this particular flow. Okay. So at the top, the very first one thing is trigger. So it is what? It is what? Something which is triggering your flow. So you can say it is a kind of event that is kicking off your automation. So you see, if I open this trigger, so there are a number of options here. Very first one and very common is record. So record trigger means whenever a new record is created, inserted or updated, in that case, you want to kick off this automation. So you can do so here. Okay. Then we have the schedule. So if you want to trigger this automation on a certain time period, you can use this. Then we have the application. So there are certain applications on which you can trigger it. Like for service catalog, we have the application known as service catalog here. So if you are creating a trigger with respect to service catalog, so you have to select service catalog here. So these all are the triggers here. Okay. So these are here to kick off your automation. Think like this only. Then we have actions. So these actions are the actual tasks that your flow is performing. Okay. So it may be including like creating a new record, sending email, updating data. So all these type of things are there in these actions. So there are many number of out-of-box actions which are provided by ServiceNow. Okay. So you can see here in this particular example, I have used n number of actions. The very first one is I am getting the value of the catalog variables because this is based on service catalog. So that's why I'm doing this. Along with that, I am sending some approvals. Okay. So all these are actions. I am updating the records. I am creating a group member. All these are what? Actions. So let me open one of the action here. So you can select any number of actions here. Okay. Based on your flow. So this action is ask for approval. Along with that, you can see all these are actions. Okay. So these are the default actions, ServiceNow core actions. So these all are the very basic, very, daily use kind of things. You can see log, lookup attachment, lookup record, send email, send notification, send SMS, update record, wait for condition. All these are kind of what? These are the core ServiceNow actions. For attachment, you have these actions. For change, you have these actions. For email, you have these actions. For service catalog, you have these actions. Okay, so you can use any of this action based on your own workflow. But in case you do not have the appropriate action, you can create your own actions and use it here. Okay, so this is all about actions. Let me go forward. Then we have the subflows. So what are subflows? Subflows are the reusable sequence that you can call from multiple flows to avoid repeating the same step. So if you remember the concept of variable set, in variable sets, what we are doing? In variable set, we are creating certain common variables, and these are being shared across various catalog items. So the same concept is applied here. If there is a logic or if there are certain steps which are needed on most of the flows. Okay, so in that case, creating that particular flow sequence in all the flows is much more complex. Rather, we can create a subflow and then call that subflow anywhere in our existing flow. Okay, so if you come here in the workflow studio, you see these all are the subflows. So these all are what? These are the reusable components. You can see the names here: add article in the work notes, send article in the chat. These all are a kind of common steps which can be used in any of the flows. So that's why we have created a kind of subflow here, and then we are using it across other flows. Okay. So this is what subflow means. I will show you in the examples how to call a subflow. Very simple, very easy concept, but very powerful. After subflow, we have flow logic. Okay, so in this flow itself, you are saying what? Certain if and else, right? So look at here. At number 4, we have if, and if it is passed, then it is coming inside and creating a group member here. So this is what decisions. So you can have certain decisions as well in a flow. If, else if, okay? Switch, while, all these things you can use here. So if you click on this, so here what I am checking? I am checking the conditions, whether the previous approval is approved here or not. And based on that, I am going into my then part. Okay. So this is how we can use these if and else conditions. Okay. You can see here, this is the flow logic. Click on it. Click on flow logic. Then you see all the options available here. If else, for each. So these are the flow logics. So you can use any of the flow logic as per your workflow, as per your logic. After flow logic, you see we have data. It is a kind of information that flows between steps using data pills. So now if you see in this particular flow, right hand side, you see various things. So you can see with respect to each steps, we are not only having that step, but also the data, and that data can be consumed later in the flow. How? If you see, this is the trigger, and in trigger we have the service catalog. If you open this, under this service catalog, we have the runtime things like requested item, table name, and various others. Then at number 1, you see get catalog variables. Yes, in step number 1, we are getting the variable of this particular catalog item, and these are the values. Okay, so the data in these variables will always be used for the current one. Okay, suppose I have opened this catalog item and updated certain values, so those values are being kept here, and I can use all those values here anywhere in this particular flow. So basically, if you remember in business rules and all, we have current. So current represent that particular requested item which is for that particular user at that time, right? So the same is being used here. So these all variables, requested item, all variables and everything, whatever they are holding the current values, and it is running for all the users who are using that catalog item and taking the process forward. So we can use any of the value anywhere in the flow. Wherever you need the data, you just need to drag and drop, and this is known as pills. So these all are the pills, and we can drag and drop the pills anywhere, okay, in the field. So for this particular approval, look at the logic here. So the approval is being sent to from catalog to requested item to requested for to the managers. Means I am sending the approval to the requested for manager, and I'm not hard coding anything. I am just using this record. Okay, so I have to click on this, then I will navigate to requested for. This is requested for. Again, click on it. This is it, right? So the same I have been using here. If I added this one, so do you see the same is being added here? So basically, this is what, this is a kind of dot walking which we use in the filters, which we use in most of the time in script as well, to get or fetch the latest or the current value there. Okay, so the same is being used like this in Flow Designer because we need not to write any kind of script here, and we just focus on the drag and drop the things. So this is how you can use this data piece. These are very important. Without it, you cannot process the data, you cannot use the data into your workflow. If you want to do that without this, then you have to write a script, write a glide record and everything. But this is the simplest way to add most of the information here. Okay. So basically, these are the 5 important building blocks for a particular flow. Okay. So what I will do now, I have a very good idea. If you remember in our last example, I have created a particular flow. Let me open that. And that was new employee onboarding flow. So what I have in mind, you already know the basics of the flow. So what I will do going forward, I will start a series, and in that series I am going to use all these kind of actions, all these kind of decision things and everything, and show you one by one, but like a real story. It means I will use this particular flow which is in front of you as a baseline, and I will try to enhance the experience of this flow with respect to various new requirements. So in each video, I will come up with a single requirement, and in that requirement, we will use a particular component of the flow designer and try to add it here so that you understand the logic, so that you understand how to add that particular thing in this flow. Okay, and then you can take it forward. And this exclusive series will be available to the members. Okay, so please go and join the membership, because I have a plan to create more than 50 videos in this. Okay, and that will be a great thing. Okay, to learn and to understand the flow designer, as well as to understand the processes. So whatever I do, I will do with the help of a process. Okay, so with this, I'm concluding this video. Thank you so much, and join the membership.